What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? Podcast about life in the music industry. I'm your host, Patrick Tarnowski. With me is the Super Gibby himself. And
Yeah.
and today we welcome Lisa from the podcast Stereo Therapy. Lisa,
Yes. Yes.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm so excited to be here. I love what you guys do. And yeah, I'm just so excited. This is like, what a great way to spend a Monday night.
It's going to be a good time.
Yes.
I think probably the only better way to spend a Monday night is Monday Night Raw, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe some wrestling.
Yeah.
Don't
Unless
get
you
me started.
Well, I was being nice, Gibby. That's why I said Monday Night Raw. I would never, well, not when there's AEW. Get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Lisa, do you watch wrestling at all?
You know what? I do, because my
Yeah?
fiance is huge into wrestling. He's very excited because Bret Hart might make an appearance tonight, I heard.
I heard
So
that too, yeah.
already he's
Oh,
like,
boy.
this is what I'm doing. And then Monday Night Football's on. So he's all excited for that. And I'm big into fantasy football. So we're going to have to like go into two different things and like switch between the two. But yeah, I'm a fan by just watching it. Do I know everything? No, absolutely not.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We are also, well, especially am a big fantasy football fan. We have our Unsigned Pop Punk Fantasy Football League. Tonight, I don't care. I've already lost. I already lost this week. I don't care.
Oh,
I'm
same
out.
here. Yep.
I'm
yep.
out.
I'm out. Yep.
Got
Yeah.
my butt kicked on the first week,
Ooh,
but it's
yeah.
okay. Yahoo Sports let me know that after I drafted that I'm basically a worthless pile of garbage and I should never have drafted or played this at all.
Oh, I can relate because I have Joe Burrow and everyone told me not to take him and I took him, and yeah, we all know how that went yesterday. So we'll see. It'll be a long year. I'm already out as well. So we'll just
If
yeah.
it makes you feel better. Now this is only my backup, but I picked up Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had some kind of hopes for that. And I think that is really where Yahoo Sports was just like, you're an idiot. You are a loser. Quit now.
Oh, yeah,
But
that was rough. Rough.
it was very rough, but I'm okay with it. Okay. Stereotherapy. Tell us a little bit about the show.
Yeah, so I started it about a year ago, and it kind of focuses on, obviously with the name stereotherapy, some people may get it, but it focuses on the intersection of music and mental health and how a lot of us use music to cope with our mental health. And we invite anyone on. It started out as musicians, but as anyone knows, starting out a podcast, it's tough to get anybody to want to come on at first. So I started just
Sure.
regular people, because I was like, we all use music to cope. You don't have to be a musician. You don't have to be music related. And it was the best thing because some of our best episodes and stories have come out of just the regular person, because it's just so amazing to see that.
Uh-oh.
And oh no, we
His
lost.
internet might have cut out.
Oh no. Should
I-
I maybe pause where we were?
Let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh no.
This happened last time. Yeah, being like out like in the garage, his internet isn't the best sometimes.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, I've been there. Usually when I'm upstairs. There we go.
There we go. We're good.
There we go. All right. So I'll just like figure out. So yeah, so some of the best stories come out of that. One of the things I'm most proud of about the podcast is we've had a lot of male guests, and men's mental health has such a stigma to it. And I
Totally.
remember starting it thinking, and other people telling me, oh, you won't maybe get a lot of men that want to come on. But like my last month was all dudes pretty much. And that's something I'm most proud of, is that we're creating that space for people to talk mental health. And yeah, I think when I look back on it, that's one of the things I'm going to be like, all right, it doesn't matter the numbers, anything. Just I'm creating a space for people to talk mental health.
Absolutely. And I definitely, as a male,
Mhm.
we do have that stigma of this like oh, they're just fine. Oh, there's nothing wrong. Or like just like you or that like things with our mental health can be fixed with like even like I saw this actual this like little cartoon and it hit me really hard honestly. It's this little cartoon. It's this a guy and he walks into the bedroom and he sits down and or it sits down on the bed and just asks how his day is and he's like not good and then he just lays down and she's like, "Oh, you had a hard day, huh?" It's like, "Would a little sexy time make you feel better?" And he's like, "No, not really."
Hmm.
And like, and then it's cute and then she like hugs him and stuff and and they just lay together. But like that even that is just like people think, a lot of people think that you can just just offer us sex or something like that. Oh, we're gonna
Hmm.
be okay. I'm not sad anymore. That's okay. I'm
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
And you know, like us, we want to be hugged. We just want somebody to love us too.
Yeah, like that's and even like being hugged. Like I remember when I met my fiance and I met his family and I love his family. They're a great family. But I was like, I noticed the guys like never hug each other. It's like not a thing.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, again, and even like their friends, like here and there, they will at times, but it's very sparingly. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen you hug your brother in that way. And that was one of those things that I never realized how bad male mental health was until we were doing the podcast and hearing and even having like guys like Halfway Down, or I think there was another band, Long Live the Lights. They were on our show
Hmm.
and they were
Love
talking,
them.
oh, they're so great. And they were so wonderful. And they said, we don't really get this deep or we don't get this vulnerable, but here we feel comfortable and we want to talk about this. And like, again, that's so great to see in some small way. It's opening up those conversations.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a great thing that you're doing like and giving people a safe space to be able to talk, share their feelings, share stories, and just generally just talk about things that regularly don't get talked about, especially for men.
Hmm. Yeah. And again, like that was the number one thing. And we always too say, like, listen, we always give questions ahead of time.
Okay.
Hey, and if you're not comfortable, but they're pretty basic of mental health and it's kind
Sure.
of up to the person. Like, how do you want to go? What do you want to talk about here? But we start out basic, but we've had people open up about things like that, like I would never maybe even think of. And I appreciate that because that lets me know, okay, like they're getting this out. If not with me, they're having that space. Maybe that was kept in and just I always appreciate like after we're done recording, I'm like, thank you so much. And again, if there's anything you're not really sure on, or maybe you don't want out, maybe you said and you just want to keep this in the conversation. So it's things like that that really let me know again that it's a good thing for everybody. And I'm so thankful that anyone wants to come on ever because again, it's not easy. It's not even
Hmm.
I'm someone that suffers from an anxiety disorder. So I understand it's even for me sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to talk mental health today, but then I feel better, even though
Yeah.
it's hard on me too. And my co-host Justine, I have too, and she's someone that feels the same way. If we're having a tough day, if we find someone relating to us, we're like, this is why we do it.
Yeah. It's not easy to get out there and do this and do a podcast, put yourself out there. Whether it's whether it's a show about mental health, music, comedy, movies, wrestling, it's you're still putting yourself out there, it's an
Mhm.
art. And
Yeah.
it's it can be like pretty jarring, uh and definitely like a lot of anxiety can come from having like I get anxious like all the time before shows because I don't know what to expect. I don't know what kind of personality I'm running into, or where with our episode that just aired today with Monique from Save Ferris. Like I loved that band since I was a kid, so I'm just terrified you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't want to sound stupid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I tell people, I just told, oh gosh, I forget who was on. I think it was Juan of the band Lane Gretzky, and he was on.
love that
And
band, love that
oh,
name.
That's
oh
such a
my
great
Such a
gosh.
great
name.
name.
I love them. I had met their my friend Tom. I still don't know how I met him, but I've known him forever, like on the internet, one of those, whether it's MySpace or Facebook. But he's in that band and he was like, I was like, I got to get your band on. Like, who wants to come on, talk music and mental health? And he was like, Juan. So I said, perfect. But we were on and he was so great. And again, I love that band. But I had confessed to him, like, before I do our podcast, I pop like a warhead in because it helps. I'm told it helps anxiety, like the sour candy.
Oh.
And
Hmm.
I'm not convinced it works yet. But I told him, I was like, that's what I do before any show. I'm the same way. I'm so nervous before. But once I'm in and I have, like you said, like the personality and the energy, I'm like, we're okay. Everything is
Yeah.
fine. Like, I don't know why I was so nervous, but say Ferris, I can't imagine. I would be the same way if that was someone like I'm waiting for that almost for us. If we get someone like that we love so much on that level of what are we going to do? Like, how do I hide? Not maybe like inside being so nervous. How do I hide that? But I don't know.
You just do your best and you just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Sometimes um being anxious, I feel like almost prompts you to be a little looser because you'll end up saying just some ridiculous thing that might end up being really fun or
Yeah.
funny because you're just nervous as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you get some winners, sometimes you get some stinkers, and that's
Yeah.
okay. That's all okay.
Oh, yeah. No, I can relate to that so much. Or sometimes when we'll do it and when I edit it back and I'm like, oh, what is that? But you know what? That's really good. That's a good thing I said there. But I was like, and when I told, I think it was Juan, how he'd listened to one of my episodes I had with Cody of Goalkeeper, which was my very first guest ever, and loved that band and loved Cody. And I said how nervous I was. I was like, he's like, you would never have known. I'm like, oh, you have no idea what was going on the other side of this computer. But I said, that's also what's good about the podcast is telling things like that of, hey, you may not realize, but someone by you or next to you or someone you know may be struggling, whether it's anxiety or any mental health situation. And you just have to be kind and compassionate because you truly don't know what someone's going through. They can appear so put together what you think is put together. And on the inside, they're really struggling to get through.
Mm, absolutely.
See, to me, it's crazy that to me, this is where I feel most comfortable, like camera, lights on. But like
Hmm.
outside of this, I am just a ball of anxiety. But right here, I'm like confident, comfortable, like this is my place. So like it's so like funny to me to hear like your guys' perspective on that. Cause like to me, I'm like, I'm good, I'm ready. But like anywhere else at work, constant anxiety. Anywhere else, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm here, yeah, hi. But
I,
this,
I
I'm
I
like,
feel like I'm a pretty constant ball of anxiety. That's it in general. Just a
Uh,
fucking ball. Uh
oh, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm always like, there's never, I know, like my fiance will say, are you ever just relaxed, Lisa? Are you ever just relaxed sitting there? No. I said 9 times out of 10, no. There's always like the ping pong ball in my head going off. But it's just something I've had to accept and like, look, I'm going to get through it and work on it each day and get more comfortable in other situations. But even doing the podcast was a leap of faith to do that. Because like you said, you're putting yourself out there. And
mhm.
with that, there's criticism. We've been called a poser podcast before because we wanted to talk about Corey Taylor of Slipknot. He's a huge mental health advocate. And whether you
Mhm.
like Slipknot or not, or Corey Taylor, and I thought it was going to be a great episode because I wanted to do it. And immediately there was like poser podcast and kind of having to deal with that of like, you know what, you're proud of this, you want to do this, you're going to get those people out there or that just don't like you, don't like the
Right.
show, give you a bad rating. And that in itself is mental health related too, where it's like, okay, and I've had to purposely just not look at listens, not look at all that because
Yeah.
that was causing me mental health. Like, oh, well, why is this podcast getting a lot of listens or viewers or followers and we're not? And social media in itself is a mental health thing, having a podcast. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. Well, and a podcast is like you want to look at numbers, and you're like, oh, you want to. You're like, oh,
Hmm.
why am I not hitting this marker yet? Why am I not hitting that? Well, you're doing a podcast. And
Yeah.
that's hard. There's especially now where anyone with a microphone that likes to
Yes.
talk can make a podcast. It's very, very easy. Very easy to make a podcast. Um, and also with that, podcasts are a niche. You
Hmm.
know, it's it's not it's mainstream, but it's not everybody. It's like my wife will never listen to a podcast. She's listened to a few of mine and stuff like that, but like that's just not something she likes. She doesn't like, and me, I love driving around. I pop on my favorite show and I just like to drive around. Sometimes I don't want to listen to music, and a podcast is an awesome uh, change. Um, but not everybody likes that, so it's tough because you have to find this perfect niche. You have to like find your group, and you have to somehow communicate to every fucking person in that group. Uh,
Hmm.
so a podcast is just really tough to do in general. So, um, and the same thing with like music, it's the same thing. We, as Unsigned Pop Punk, we have worked with over 3,000 bands, like just different bands in this scene. That's all 3,000 and counting, all fighting with each other and battling with each other and working with each other to be heard, you know? So it's tough. It's a tough industry in general. So you just gotta do it because you like it, because you love doing it. And that's what's most important. Music, podcast, content creation, you do it because you like doing it. And if something pops off, fuck yeah.
Hmm.
If it doesn't, you're still just doing something you love to do.
100%. Like that's what I've had to tell myself. Like early on, of course, there was, oh my gosh, I want to get this big name or I want to do this. I want to be that big person in the music world and like for women. And that would be really still great. But realistically, it was like, you know what? I love doing it. Whatever's going to
Hmm.
happen is going to happen. At the end of the day, I'm putting it out there and I'm putting something positive out there with our podcast in this negative space that's going on. And from that, like even moving here to New Jersey, I didn't have a lot of friends that listened to the same music. I moved here because I had met my fiance and we did long distance. So I'm here in New Jersey and it's a great music place. But again, having anxiety, it was like, where do you meet people in your 30s moving out here? What do you do? And dealing with that. And it was like, you know what? Like, how did I used to meet people? I used to go to shows. Okay, well, I still do that. But now from people all over with the podcast, whether they're guests or people that listen to the show, I'm able to connect with so many people that it's like that's worth so much more to me than anything where I'm like, wow, I have like a little crew of a community that like believes in what we're doing.
Perfect time. Perfect time right there.
There we go. Good job. Good job.
Perfect stop point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Thanksgiving.
I didn't want to. I like typed like I have like our little Google Doc sheet up, so I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you, so I just typed "you're frozen."
It's wild. So um on my end, everybody else froze, and
Yeah.
then uh but I could still hear you. So I heard so much of what you said while I was frozen. But yeah, and then like I don't know. I look over and I saw like on my computer it's like your internet is unstable. I'm like, "Will you
Mm-hmm.
fucking knock it off? Stop it." I don't even have my kids aren't even home. There's no reason my
Oh.
internet is not being good today. But it's being rude. I don't appreciate it. You may continue.
But and and I've been really blessed too, honestly. Like I'll bring them up because I love Matt Batiste. Matt Batiste has been so wonderful in that community of podcasters, of learning too, like learning your audience too, that my audience wasn't going to be people I know, my friends. It's going to
Hmm.
be these people that feel the same way and are behind mental health and
Hmm.
music and are into that. And because of that, like I'm like, wow, like I go to Pittsburgh. I have so many bands from Pittsburgh for some reason. I'm very blessed. And
There's a lot
I-
of bands from
there's
Pittsburgh.
so
A
many. Like I
lot
can
of good bands too.
and
Hmm.
it's so crazy. It started with Old Neon. We had Old Neon on
Love
They're
those
and
great.
dudes.
they were so wonderful and so great. And from there, it just went into, I mean, gosh, we had Heading North on. I'm trying to think of all of them. Like, I know I'm going to forget one, but it just is that to me is like, wow, if I go to Pittsburgh, there's like a little community that I can go hang out with. And I found people. And I think that's what's so great about podcasting. Like there are downsides, but the greatness is creating your little group of, I mean, I'm sure you guys have it too. You have this great community that you've built throughout what you do.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown our unsigned pop punk family like as the years have gone now and just we have we have I see myself personally as so many consistent people that support daily, whether it's likes, comments, messaging me, and like we've made like friends just because of this through traveling or just on social media. It's it's something I always hoped it would be as we continue to grow, just the point it's at right now is where I was just hoping it would get to. Um like in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So but as we're here, I'm now it's like we look for new goals and to build our community and to meet more people and to be able to help more people. It's yeah, it's all about community, and that's what why I love doing this so much is, meeting new people and being able to help all of these artists because when I was in a band, I didn't have anybody that gave a shit. I mean, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you always do, but it doesn't feel like it a lot.
Yeah, and we have one of the other things I'm proud of is that I'll get people that message us, or if I message them and I find them on TikTok and I'm like, hey, I'd love you on our show. I love your sound. And they'll say, are you sure? We only have 600 followers. We're so small. Are you sure? I'm like, no, you're who I want. Like, I want
Hmm.
that band that you guys still have a voice and you guys have a place. And that's why I respect what you guys do because you got doing a lot longer than people like me and other podcasts. And you've truly created that space for these bands that there's so many where I'm like, that's so cool. Like when I saw, oh my gosh, halfway down, I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't remember. They're
No,
gonna
you're
kill
good.
me.
There's so
But
many. It's okay. It's
like
okay.
halfway down is I love seeing them on your show. And I was like, yes, like that's so amazing that this band that I love that's doing great things that I wanted on is now getting this even bigger platform in space. I loved that.
I don't know if you saw this. It's funny. And they'll probably get really irritated with me for letting you know. But if you haven't seen, if you go to our YouTube channel, and you look up our Ham Slam 24, they performed on our live stream and it was their first ever performance.
Hmm.
It's fun. Good time.
Oh,
And they're great. And they were so good.
yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that about the ham slam. I don't know if I caught it, but I remember seeing that and I was like, that is so cool. Like that you guys like that like goes on and just I love that.
It
I do. That's part of, like you said, like part of the great community is like cool things like that.
if you get a chance, go check it out. It's
Yes.
fun. The Ham Slam.
Oh, I
That's
love that.
where other but another part of the the Unsigned Pop Punk family, Matt Reed. That's kind of what he does. That's one of his main things he does now, is he hosts our annual Ham Slam. It's a just a live stream concert we put on in Matt's studio.
Oh,
It's a good
again,
time.
I love that. It reminds me, I just keep thinking of Denny's and Grand Slam, like
Yeah.
Ham Slam. That's what I'm thinking of. And I'm like, you know what?
So
Yeah.
we call it the Ham Slam is because the first year we did it, it was just kind of it's like our anniversary. The first year we did it, I think it was just called our anniversary special or something. But last year we dubbed it, we named it the Ham Slam, and each year we've had one of our favorite local bands. They're named Linus, and they're good friends with Halfway Down.
Hmm.
Love Linus. I love the Linus boys, but they are known as the Hams Band because there is a brewery. I actually think it might be in Wisconsin or Minnesota, but like they are obsessed with hams. It's like the cheapest beer you can get. It's like $15 for a 30 pack. And for the Ham Slam, we buy like 4K 30 packs of it for like all of the bands and everybody. And it's just a little party. Just a little party.
It sounds like a good time. It's like that's like guaranteed. It's like, but like that's what I miss too. Like from back home, going to like basement shows and like little shows that be like that, that would be thrown together. I haven't found my group in New Jersey that does that yet. But I'm also like I'm 38. Like, am I too old to be here? Like the type of thing if I show up to the, but yeah, I miss stuff like that. This kind of like thrown together and by the local acts and man, I just need to find my way and just be like, I'm not too old to be there. Like I can hang, I can be there if I love the music.
Sure can.
Yeah.
You get it. You go get it, girl.
Yeah, I'll show up like, all right, guys. But like I get, it's a little easier because people say you don't look 38. So I'm like, all right, I'll just play the part, wear like a little baseball cap, be like, yeah, I'm one of you guys. It's all right.
I'm one of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what is that meme like? I'm one of you, like I'm one of you, fellow teens.
Oh,
Yeah. How's it going, fellow teens? It's like
Yes.
Steve Buscemi or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm seeing it now. Like I'm gonna have to watch it after and be like, this is what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. It's so funny. Oh shit.
oh, man. So let's bring this back a little to about
Yes.
you. What were some of the bands or artists like that got you into the music scene?
Oh, wow. I mean, the top one that I say all the time is absolutely Fall Out Boy.
Love them.
Growing
No
up,
way. No
growing,
way. You're from Chicago and
yeah.
you like Fall Out Boy? Bullshit.
So it's like, well, and here's the funny part is anyone from Illinois will say we're from Chicago. But listen, I was 30 minutes from, so I say, listen, I'm from Illinois, but Chicago just was always home. But for sure, Fall Out Boy, seeing them in the earlier days of them, I still talk about it. It was just so special seeing them play venues like the Metro in Chicago or in smaller
Mhm.
places. And I mean, I saw them play a Hollister in my mall in my town, which is insane. Like right as From Under the Cork Tree was going to come out. And that's wild to think about. And I still tell people, like when I went to college, because I originally wanted to do like music business management because of that, which didn't quite work out, but it's okay. Like I'm here doing a podcast, it's all good. But
Yeah.
when I went there, the reason I did, and I ended up writing an essay because it was like I got there because of Fall Out Boy, because of that local scene of them, the Academy is Spitalfield.
Oh,
Um,
love Spitalfield.
Oh my
Spitalfield. Oh my
gosh. They
god.
do not get enough recognition of what they deserve, I think. Like just class act people. I love Mark Rose, but like just being in that energy was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I went on to like promoting other bands and anyone locally. And it was just such a wild time. So for sure, Fall Out Boy. And then for sure, I mean, bands like Newfound Glory, my all-time
Yeah.
favorite. Again, Newfound
Top five
Glory.
band
Love.
for me.
Yeah.
Uh, oh gosh, Thursday, that band, 100%. I love them so much. And that was where I kind of got into more of like the harder bands, where it's like, okay, like I love my pop punk, but
Hmm.
now I like this too. Like I like the harder stuff now. And now looking back, I'm like, that's why like a band like Knocked Loose I can listen to because of listening to Thursday. So it's like had I not had some of those components and even Fall Out Boy started out as like, a hardcore band and then came into Fall Out Boy. So it's
Right.
like things like that for sure growing up at that time. It just those bands for sure. I mean, no, I'm gonna forget, but those like off the top of my head are like, yeah, those are what started it. And of course, like Blink-182, but like
Right.
that's a given. I mean, everybody
Everybody's
starts
gonna
out
say,
there.
everybody's gonna say Blink-182, but let's get
Right.
into the nitty-gritty, right? Like,
Yes.
Blink-182, Green Day, we get it. Let's talk past that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could, and then I guess too, like, I mean, I know everyone's going to say it, but like, again, being part of that music scene early on, Paramore, the
Hmm.
fact that I saw them in like a 300-person club is wild to think about. And then
Totally.
now they're opening up for Taylor Swift, which
Hmm.
is insane. But I think seeing that too, of like, hey, like a girl can do that. A girl can be a part of this music scene and exist in it, even though there were a lot of things in the music scene that probably weren't really great for women and still aren't. To
Yeah.
see someone like her at that young age just command the stage, that was everything for me for sure.
Absolutely. And I want to bring it back for 1 second
Yeah.
because you brought it up and now I can't stop thinking about it. Now, when these two albums were coming out, like roughly around the same time, Fall Out Boy's Take This to Your Grave, um, and Spitalfield. Now,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, okay, and this is this may be this may be a lot for some people to hear, but I love the way she said LA is better than anything off of Take This to Your Grave. Just saying it. I'm
I
saying it, I'm
yes.
putting it out there, and I mean it.
I found my person here because the thing is, I have said that for a long time that I think Spitalfield, had they not been on the path they were with, I think it was like Victory or
Yeah,
wherever they were, I think had they had a better situation, because around that time, people that I knew in the scene, that we all thought Spitalfield was going to be the band. That was the
dude.
band to take off because of I love the way she said LA and other things and just live. But then of course, Fall Out Boy, like surpassed. But I think if Spitalfield had the right people around them and instead of a label like Victory, I swear they would be much bigger and would have
I
had that
agree.
boom because they deserved it. They were so good.
And also I want to say to anyone who is like deeply offended right now,
Oh
I
yeah.
think Take This to Your Grave is a better album than I don't remember what's that one is called from Spitalfield with I love
Remember
the
right. Remember right
Remember Right
now.
Now. Yep,
Hmm.
Remember Right Now. Thank you.
Yes.
I think Take This to Your Grave is a better album than Remember Right Now, but I think that song, I love the way she said LA, takes the cake over anything on that album. I just think it is one of my favorite songs of that time.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
good jam.
It still hits too. Like I've
It
seen
does.
videos. I wasn't able to see Spitalfield. I think they it was not Hawthorne Heights. I don't know who they played with last year, but
Yeah,
I
they
wasn't.
just did a like reunion type thing.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I forget. Maybe it was them, but and I couldn't go, and I was kicking myself because I was like, oh, because I saw videos and how great Mark
Yeah.
Rose they still sound today, which is wild to think about. And like, I just such a special band. I love that like they're getting brought up because on my show they haven't been brought up yet. I'm always waiting because something we ask is, how did you first fall in love with music?
Yeah.
And I always wait, like, who's gonna say it? Like,
Who's gonna say
who's gonna
Spitalfield?
give me Spitalfield? No one yet. So I'm waiting
I
for it.
one of my best friends in the world, his name's Sam Dean. Shout out Sam Dean. Um, he gave me that CD of Spittlefield's Remember Right Now because he was on tour with his band. They were called Foreknown. They were a hardcore band or metalcore. They were metalcore, and they played a show together, which is one of the things I also fucking love about this scene in general is that you can have metalcore bands play with like pop punk bands, play with acoustic bands. You know, you can all play together. And like, yeah, they were on tour and then they did like run of shows together. And he's like, dude, I think you'd fucking love this. And I'm like, I do love this. I love this
Yeah.
very much.
Oh, that's
It was awesome.
awesome.
Then that
Yeah.
was my introduction.
Like I love people like that that'll show you music and like, no, hey, you'll like this. Like, here you go, listen to this. And then you end up loving it. I love that. Like that's why I loved like the burnt CD you would just pass to people. It's such a lost art. I mean, I hope somehow that comes back. I guess it's now like here's a playlist. I
Get
guess that's
playlists,
yeah,
yeah.
that's our version, but it's not the same.
You know, since we run the Unsigned Pop Punk playlist, I'd like to say it is the same. No. No, totally. I agree. That's kind of why even at the very beginning of this, we've kind of gotten away from it a bit because it's hard and it's expensive and,
Yeah.
we only make so much money. Um, we wanted to bring back like compilation albums and stuff because I love that. I miss like the hopelessly devoted to you albums or the fat records ones like fat music for fat people and stuff like that. I loved those punk compilations, and when we first started doing this, I was like, dude, I want to do that. I want to bring back compilations.
Oh.
But CD players are a thing of the past. You basically can't. Nobody has them, and if you have a car with one, it's on its last leg. Uh,
Mhm.
and so it's kind of tough to do it. But I still want to keep doing it. We do our annual Christmas compilation album,
Oh,
so I want to keep doing that. And I
oh,
love that the burnt CDs.
yeah, the compilation. I just remember like Warp Tour, that Art of the Comp. You would get those compilations, and I found,
Hmm.
oh gosh, I think I found like the band back in the day, like From Autumn to Ashes, because it was on a
Yep.
compilation or like something like that. And they're bands like I would never have maybe heard
Yeah.
because they're on a compilation and I'm being handed it at Warp Tour. It's like, or like, oh, you'll get it in the mail with a CD. Like obviously you used to do that too, where you would get that and just what a lost art. Like,
I used to just one that popped into my head, the Atticus Dragging the Lake compilation.
yes,
Woo!
yes.
That was a good one.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah, that's bringing it back. That I can see it. Like that's what's so
Hmm.
cool about those things like that is I can see it and know that like how special that was just to have it and like all the different ones and oh.
Gibby, did you ever get into compilations?
I kind of missed out on the compilations. When I started, it was burnt CDs. I did get summer samplers from record labels though.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my first like sampler CD from a label. It was like after we saw Slipknot, which was at the time like the heaviest band to me was Slipknot.
Mhm.
So, and it was a Sumerian Records like summer sampler. And like the first song on there was a Born of Osiris song. And I was like,
Oh,
what is this? This is heavy. What is this?
yeah.
And it just sent me down this whole little spiral of like asking Alexander, like metalcore, and then like being like, wow, okay, Slipknot isn't the heaviest it gets.
Not even
No.
close.
If it tells you
Slip.
anything, this was like middle school for me, so
Yeah,
that blew my
for sure.
mind.
For sure. That's awesome.
But
From
I missed out on like the compilation series. It was just more. I was on the LimeWire train, like burning CDs, downloading songs,
yeah,
putting it on my Zune.
Yeah,
on
ruining
your Zune.
computers.
My
There you go.
Zune.
I love that. You've already kind of touched and talked about moving from Chicago and to New Jersey. Central New Jersey, as you state on your website, does exist.
It
Um,
does.
um, but with, growing up in Chicago and it's being one of the pop punk meccas of the United States, of the world, uh like tell us about a little bit more about like going to shows, and like where you would like go to shows the most, and like what you did like during your youth.
Ooh. Oh man. Like when I was in high school, that's when I really got into, I think it was a junior, I first started hearing people talk about like shows. And to me, I was like, oh, to me, I always felt like a concert had to be a bigger venue, a bigger band. But a
Hmm.
lot of people around me in the like Aurora, Naperville area, and that's where someone's be like, they're not from Chicago. But I went to school
They're
for, a year or two. But
they're like suburbs though, right?
yeah,
Like they're
yeah.
suburbs. So that's Chicago. A
Right.
suburb is still a part of the city.
Yep.
Yeah. So listen, am I, but for me during that time, it was like I kind of would just be, because again, with like my anxiety, I would be like the shy kid, but get me talking about music and it was totally different. So people would talk about these shows going on, and a lot of them were like in the VFWs, the churches by me. Those were always the bigger one, or like the Knights of Columbus. And
Hmm.
I think that's where I started doing it. And I was lucky where I saw bands like The Audition was a big band in the Chicago area for a while. Saw them in Arlington Heights. There was like this place, the Wheaton Grand Theater. I just talked about this the other day about Chiodos, that
Mm-hmm.
when they were obviously not from Illinois, but from Michigan. So they would play shows all the time around us. And Wheaton Grand Theater was this tiny place. I forget the capacity, but it was like an old movie theater. And a lot of bands would play there, whether it was locally or even Chiodos. And I don't think they were set for that band to play at this little, like, maybe if you're lucky, 900 or maybe even less. But Chiodos, no barricade, no nothing, just this little bar. And I remember Chiodos coming across the stage and being like, the security did not know what to do because it was 2006. So it was like in the prime of them getting around and kids, oh, this is who they are, like from Pure Volume.
Hmm.
And little places like that were always so cool because when I look back and think about, man, like Chiodos is on When We Were Young this year, which is insane to think about. And they're getting more
Yep.
traction. And it's like, I saw them in the tiniest places that I'm so lucky because of where I lived, because we had places like that. We had your Arlington Heights Knights of Columbus, where I think Hit the Lights played there. And it was like the tiniest place. And it was back in maybe 2006, 2007, and or maybe even 2005, but in that heyday of that era, it was just you could drive 30 minutes and go to any show. So those were my thing. And obviously, I mean, my favorite bigger venues, the Metro in Chicago, it's one of the best places. And I think one thing without that venue was I saw bands like Fall Out Boy for like $15 before they were big because
Right.
they were just getting their footing, or bands like Alkaline Trio would do 2 3 day stints at the Metro. And you, or like even Rise Against, another band that Metro, and there's just something so special about the Metro in Chicago to see a show. And if anyone's ever been, you just know there's something about that place. And I mean, then you don't even stop there. There's places like Shuba's that's tiny. Then there was the Riv, the Bottom Lounge in Chicago, like all these like fun places that it I would never. I'm so lucky that I got to see shows there because it just, you knew every band was ever like was going to come because we're in Chicago. We're a big market. They're not going to
Mhm.
skip Chicago.
Right.
And now that I'm here in New Jersey, oddly enough, like the venues are great, but we get skipped a lot because you're close to New York. So we're going to go to New York.
Right.
And I'm like, what? This tour is going to Chicago. Like, but that's what just was so special about Chicago is I knew every band was always more than likely going to come.
Right.
So just,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, special venues like forever. I could talk those venues all day. And the Metro, just specifically the Metro, that was the best place. And again, like those early days of Fall Out Boy, the Academy is Spitalfield played the Metro Forever Rise Against,
Hmm.
that fun. And just knowing when you walked in those doors, you're like, this is so great. This is so fun. I'm so just lucky to be in Chicago.
I, I was used to love playing Chicago. Of my like one of my favorite shows I ever played, back in like the Jamestown story, and then I turned 7 days. We played with Punchline
Hmm.
in Schaumburg. I don't
Oh,
remember. It was like
okay.
a VFW, and
Yes.
I love playing Schaumburg.
Yes, I would not be shocked if it was if I've been around there. I know Arlington Heights was really close to there, and they had a Knights of
Hmm.
Columbus, but Schaumburg had a really good scene back then locally, and that any of that area in Schaumburg, a lot of people would sometimes say, "Oh, those are like the Richie kids," but they had an amazing scene in Schaumburg.
And but the thing is, you could say like Richie Kids and stuff, but for like a smaller band, they bought merch, so
Mm-hmm.
much merch, and like,
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no. There we go. He's
oh,
back.
son of a bitch. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. As a touring band, you rely on merch sales, as
Yeah.
a especially, as a like a smaller touring band, then you're playing to like 50 to 300 people, it all depends, uh but like, yeah, you need to sell merch. So Schaumburg was one of the like was amazing because every kid came out and every kid bought merch.
Hmm.
It was amazing. Like it was such a supportive scene.
Yeah. I'm not shocked to hear that just because um anyone that I knew that was in a local band, whether it was Schaumburg, the Arlington Heights area. I know
Hmm.
there's another one I'm not thinking of, but they were very similar that they were so supportive of each other, of the bands. I remember even All Time Low played with a local band. I can't remember their name, but it was at like I think it was Centennial Lanes, and it was like this old pool shut down. And I remember just thinking like, I think it was an EP All Time Low had out. I can see
Hmm.
it. It was
Hmm.
like coffee. I can't
It
think of
had
it.
coffee shop soundtrack on it.
Yeah, yeah, I
The
can't
party
think.
scene? No.
Maybe,
So long it's right? No.
maybe it
This is
had
gonna
the
bug me.
coffee. Yeah, I'm like someone's
I
gonna
got
kill me
this.
on that too. But
Gibby's gonna Google it
you
right now.
got it
Don't
for me.
worry.
Okay.
He's
But
I'm the fact
but
checker here.
Yeah.
yes, fact check me. But I remember that was so cool that kind
The
of
party
scene.
scene.
There we go. All right, so that EP was just out, and it was wild how that scene came together, put on a show, and we're like, All Time Low is playing here. Like, this is insane. And at the time, I had never even heard of them. So I had
Right.
no idea how much of a big deal, but that scene really came together. And like you said, like merch. I mean, that is one thing I've always saw was the merch tables they always had lines in the local scene where I was from. They always did. We would buy
Hmm.
CDs, shirts, handmade, whatever it is. And
Yeah.
I love to see that for a local scene that people would just want to buy merch.
Yeah. No, that was one of the best parts of the scene back then, especially for local scenes. It's I really don't see it nearly as much anymore. Um, but man, like people loved just merch.
Hmm.
Um, like just like in my bands and stuff, we had huge amounts of shirts. We would have like booty shorts in like six different colors, because you'd make money. Like
Yeah.
people bought all of that stuff all the time, and like you'd have like six, seven different shirt options. And nowadays, if you have six, seven different shirt options, it's like, well, it's making it too difficult to choose, so you're just not going to buy anything. It's such a weird time now.
Yeah. It is like, oh God, the booty shorts. I remember almost any
The
local band
booty shorts
they
were,
had booty shorts. It was like a thing and for such a long time. And like I don't think I've seen any on merch
you know,
tables now. Like
you
I
don't do
don't
it
know.
anymore.
No, they
I've
don't
seen
do
I've
it.
seen quite a bit lately.
Do you?
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something that's really funny. I just learned this. I think either this year or the year before, but when I was doing the band Cities Never Sleep, that's when we had all these booty shorts. We had so many booty shorts because they just sold, just flew. They said, "Give me some sugar, baby," because that was one of our songs. And I realized this. Somebody sent me a picture, and they're like, "Yo, did you have a misprint?" No, we only ordered one print, and it was just the reprint of it. Our band name was spelt wrong from the
Oh.
very beginning.
Oh my God.
So
No.
it didn't say cities never sleep. It said sites never sleep, like CITIES, right?
Oh man.
No,
Yeah. Or
Uh, no, no,
no, that
ES.
would be
No I.
yeah,
CITES.
yeah. I still have a picture of it on my phone because I just think it's so funny. And I'm just like, we sold hundreds, probably like 1,000 of those shorts, like, and everybody's butt was misspelt. So
Sites
funny.
never sleep. That's good.
Sites,
That's good.
oh
oh,
my God. Oh.
just
Ah.
I sent it to like all the boys, and I was like, guys, we're dumb. We're so dumb. Every single one of them was spelt wrong.
Oh man. Someone's out there and they have that. A sites never sleep. They have it. Let us know. I want to know
Yeah,
who's got one.
the person that sent it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna announce this now. I'm starting a new band called Sites Never Sleep, and we
There
already
you go.
got tons of booty shorts out there. You just gotta
Yeah,
find them.
there you go. Just
Oh,
go gather them up.
there you go.
Need y'all to send them to me. I'm gonna wash them, and we're gonna resell them.
It's vintage now,
Yeah.
right? So people love it. People love vintage.
Oh, especially now. Yeah. Kids. Yeah. I feel like saying kids. I can't believe I say kids. I'm like 38, but like they do the vintage, the better. And I guess like even people are finding like band tees in
Hmm.
vintage shops now or
Oh
like their
yeah.
thrift stores and like, look what I found. It's like, whether it's Green Day or there was someone on TikTok that I don't maybe it was Panic at the Disco or something. They found this shirt. And I'm like, wow, are we really there where these band shirts are just
Yeah.
showing up there now?
Yep. But you know what I can't find anywhere, and it's pissing me off? I can't find any damn Jinkos.
No, I thought they were supposed to come back.
Well, they are. All the kids, all so my daughter's 15.
Hmm.
All they do is wear baggy pants again. I was
Yes.
watching, like, her friends were over, and I was talking to my wife. I was like, "Isn't it funny? Like, our kids are so lucky because when we were growing up wearing those baggy pants, it was cool.
Hmm.
It was cool to have them all wet, ripped up on the bottom.
Yes.
Oh, the more fucked up on the bottom, the better, right?
Yes.
But our parents were like, "You're just destroying your pants. You're just destroying them." But no, we're cool. We get it. I see it and I'm like, huh, those are some ripped up pants. Are you
Oh,
popular yet?
oh, yes, that was it. Like the Jenkos were everything. And again, like on a rainy day when you had just had that much of water just sitting there, that almost like a line and just
Up to
the
your
dirt.
freaking knee.
Oh my gosh. Oh, what a time. I'm like, all right, let's and like they would have them at other stores, but like even stores like Hot Topic before it is what it is, when it looked just a different way. If you went in there and you got your Jenkos or your trip pants or everything, it's just the style. It's like if you weren't
Hmm.
wearing those, you like you said, you were not cool. You were not cool if you were not wearing those.
Yep. Yeah.
No,
It's like Jinkos are really expensive.
I
Like
was
if
about
Yes.
to say,
the
do you know how much they're going
resellers,
for right now?
dude, like up to like $500, man. Resellers are
What?
crazy.
You know how much they're going for on their website right now?
Oh no.
The cheapest pair I see is 160.
Get out of here.
Wow.
No,
It's a lot of fabric.
130.
It's a lot
130.
of it's a lot of fabric, you know.
Wow.
Um,
Ugh.
but to be fair, they were really expensive when they were first out.
Mhm.
Um, so keep this in mind, like especially with inflation. So in the like late 90s, you know, you could get normal pants were probably like $30. Jinkos were 60. So, I mean, they just are that's how expensive they are now with inflation.
Wow.
But if you're to try and find, I've looked them up on eBay. If you're looking for them, they range up to like $500 on eBay for like
What?
classic, for
Right.
like actual 90s Jinkos. It's crazy.
Wow.
And
$500. No
and
way.
and that's why you can't find them at Goodwill or Savers or anything like that
Mm,
because of resellers.
wow. Wow. Bringing
Hmm.
it back with the Jenkos. I'm like, oh, that, what a time.
Hmm. If you want to try and bring it back with some real vintage, you're gonna have to go with the J.C. Penney knockoff zones. That's if you can find those, but those are probably still affordable.
There we go.
Oh my
You
god,
finding any
dude. I found them.
zones?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you got? What you find? Like on
Jason.
eBay or what?
I just Googled it.
Oh, yeah. There, I think it was ZONZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I had. I could hardly afford. Like, you had one pair of Jinkos. That's all I could afford.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
was lucky if I had one that, I had one and that was it and it had to last. And however, like they were because yeah, my parents weren't gonna like again, $60 for jeans back then. It was like, no way, you're not getting these.
It's too much. Too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Gibby's looking up more pants. I could see he's invested in this. We got one more quick question
All
before we go
right.
to a break. If you could give our listeners a piece of advice that you know now, that you wish
Ooh.
you knew when you were first starting your journey, what would it be?
Ooh. My journey as a podcaster
Sure.
or just a
Journey in
cool
life, whatever
journey
you
in life.
feel like.
Journey in
Whatever
life.
that
I'm gonna
question,
say my life. I'm gonna
yeah,
say, you know
whatever that
what?
question means to you.
I would say be yourself. Because, and I know that sounds so cliche, but anything, whether it was a friend I made or a cool opportunity or just anything positive, it's because I've been myself. I've never tried to say, sure, maybe down the road and like in the beginning, it was like, oh, maybe I have to do this or do that. Maybe people will like me. But the minute I just stayed true to who I was, even loving music, I used to be criticized all the time. Oh, she like Lisa loves every band. Everyone is her favorite band. She talks about this all the time. Well, now that's led me to a podcast and really cool opportunities and fun things because I'm still the same person. And that's one of the best compliments I've gotten when anyone listens to our show. They're like, you have not changed since I've knew you like in high school. And I'm like, that's the number one thing is like be yourself, even if it's seems cliche thing that everybody says, just stay true to yourself. If you love, card games, if you love just whatever you love, just be you. And that's the best advice I can give anyone.
It's a good piece of advice. I completely agree. Uh, just gotta stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with our next segment. Today's episode is sponsored by Chattanooga Beard Company. Are you looking for a quality company to help sexify your beard? Turn it up to 11, take it to a whole new level. I have tried lots of other products over the many years it's taken to grow these luscious face locks. And then I tried Chattanooga Beard Company, and I kid you not, it changed my beard's life. Their products are made from quality ingredients like sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, coconut oil, beeswax, lanolin, and shea butter. I have at home their shampoo and their conditioner, 2 different scented beard balms, 1838, which is wood
amber, and grapefruit, and churchwarden, which is pipe tobacco, and wild cherries, and freedom. I also have 2 of their beard oils, clean slate, which is bergamot and lime, and iron forged, which smells like coffee and chocolate, and you just want to eat it. My wife loves the smell of their clean slate oil. It's been a game changer. You don't have to take my word for it, because who am I other than the lovely looking man with this lovely looking beard? Try it for yourself. Just go to www.chattanoogabeard.co and snag any of these products or one of their other many scents and styles. And as a bonus, if you use our code Unsigned Pop Punk at checkout, you're going to get 15% off your order. So if you love your beard, or you love someone with a beard, try out Chattanooga Beard Company. You won't be mad you did.
And we're back. Thanks so much for sticking around. We're hopping into the next segment, everyone's favorite segment, the food for thought segment, because, you know, who doesn't love food? So,
And being from Chicago, you have plenty of things to love about food.
that is true.
Yes.
So, first question right off the bat, we're gonna put you on the spot.
In the
Hot
hot
seat.
seat.
Oh man.
So you went from Chicago to New Jersey. Who
Mhm.
has the better pizza?
Oh my gosh, this is one I get in so much trouble here. I will say over and over again, Chicago. And not what people think. Deep dish is good, but that is not our home pizza. We have this
No.
tavern style that is
Yeah.
out of this world. So give me a good tavern style, Chicago, hands down.
The deep dish, the pizza that Chicago is known for is for tourists. It's become
Mm-hmm.
very touristy. And you can't eat that fucking pizza all the time. When you want pizza, you can't just eat a giant brick of cheese pie. It's
Yeah.
you just can't do it every time. You know, it's and don't get me wrong, it's absolutely delicious and I love it. But if that was what pizza was, that would be a once in a while pizza.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, okay? When we're talking about let's get close here, okay?
There we go.
Let's be honest. All right. We're talking about New Jersey pizza. We're not talking about New York pizza, right, guys? We're not talking...
1,000. But that's the thing, right? So some people, when I'll say that, they're like, but and they all like do that thing where they have the pizza too, where like they fold it and they
Oh
eat it.
yeah.
Like that's their thing.
That's their thing.
And
That's the East Coast pizza thing.
when I moved here, I was
Three
like,
finger fold.
what are you guys doing? Like, just I'm eating it, and I'm like the weirdo just eating a slice normally, and they're all, flipping it. But no, I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 places around here that I'm like, okay, it's good, but it's not home good. It's not the tavern style from Chicago. I'm like waiting to go back home and having the tavern style or Portillo's or the Italian beef. I'm waiting to go back home and having like the goods.
It's tough now when you talk about pizza, I feel, because anybody can do it anywhere. You
Mhm.
know, you can make New York, New Jersey, Connecticut style pizza in Minnesota. It's just pizza. Like, it's not like all of this shit can be made anywhere by somebody that knows how to make that kind of pizza. But
Yeah.
it's like it's everybody in these places. You're like, oh, especially New Yorkers. Don't get me started. New
Oh.
Yorkers. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, New Yorkers.
Uh,
They are so Chicago too, though. Y'all are passionate.
oh
You're
yes.
passionate about your shit, and
Oh
that's okay. It's passionate. It's okay,
yeah. Like
but it can be done.
it's something about it. It's like that whenever I moved here and everyone's like,
All
"Oh, you guys just
unstable.
have you guys have deep dish." Like, no, we have other great stuff. We are not just deep
Right.
dish. And like the one thing I will give New York and New Jersey, they have wonderful delis and bagels all day. They are wonderful.
Hmm.
But the pizza, no, I'm out.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, I like the New York does something special about their bagels.
Hmm.
But but you could take that person, you could import that and bring it somewhere else,
Yes.
and
Oh,
it'll still just be it'll still be a good bagel.
yes.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be like, people can be great everywhere, okay?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another Chicago question.
All right.
Ketchup on a hot dog. Where are we
Oh.
at?
So I don't do it, but it's because I was almost raised not to do it. It was like the thing of not to do it. But I would never harp on anyone because when I moved here, or just all of my other friends from anywhere too, they would have ketchup. But for me, it's that Chicago dog with the mustard, the relish, the little peppers, the
Yeah.
tomato, the celery salt. Give me that all day over like the ketchup. But like so many other people I know, they love their ketchup on their hot dog and not hating. But for me, no, there's no ketchup on a hot dog.
If I now I if I was going to be like a hot dog of either a ketchup hot dog or like a Chicago style dog, I'm gonna have a Chicago style dog.
Yeah.
Like I am a person who likes things on things. I like flavors. And ketchup on a hot dog, yeah, that's something I'm just gonna pop a hot dog in the goddamn microwave at home and throw ketchup on it because it's already cooked. Doesn't matter if it goes in a microwave. You cook that, you could cook it on a stove and water. It doesn't matter. It's gonna come
Yeah.
out the same.
Yes. Or you can get fancy in an air fryer these days.
You
People
could,
pop it in
you
the
could.
air fryer.
Ooh.
But it's all gonna taste the same.
Hmm.
There's not much special you're gonna do with a standard not microwave, but like hot dog from a grocery store. But if you're going somewhere, if somebody's going out to get a hot dog and to pay for it, you better have something more than fucking ketchup on it, or else
Yeah.
what the fuck did you buy that for?
Yes. That's why I miss Portillo's. Portillo's was the best. You could go get your Chicago dog or just so many things, and you wouldn't just have ketchup on it. You would get like the Chicago dog. And yeah, no. Around here, like some of the like little places by the beach, you can get it, but you at least say what you want on it. But it's definitely not a Chicago dog. It's either ketchup. They do a lot of like spicy mustard over here. That's their
Sure.
thing. Spicy mustard and like sauerkraut. And like that's not my thing.
Yeah. I like a good chili dog or a
Ooh,
coney dog,
yeah.
you know. If I'm paying like up to $6 for a hot dog, there better be something on it other than ketchup.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
saying.
for sure. Yeah. So hot dog vendors out there. Come on. Something other than ketchup if we're doing that.
Yep. I wouldn't go to a hot dog vendor though,
No.
most likely, because I would
Yeah.
not even just knocking like hot dog vendors. It's just I wouldn't choose to eat like a hot dog just plain. Like, you know what I mean? Like with just ketchup, with just mustard. I would never choose to pay for that when I could spend like $4 on a 6 pack of hot dogs at home. I am
Yeah.
that person. If I'm gonna spend $6, I'm gonna go get something better
Hmm.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just me. Gibby, where are you weighing on
Yeah.
this?
I'm a child. It's ketchup hot dog only here. I'm a child. Let me tell you right now.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I'm at home, like that's what I'll do too. Like if I'm just gonna pop a hot dog and just eat it, that's like a lunchtime snack for me. Or not snack, but it's a lunchtime little meal, you know, hot dog and some chips. I just cannot, I couldn't bring myself to pay like actual money for a ketchup hot dog at a restaurant when there's anything else you can get.
That's what I do.
Yeah. No. I will say though, this is my confession, is when I'm at
I
a
love you, Gibby.
when I'm at a barbecue, I will say I have done it. I have just done the ketchup on a hot dog or mustard.
Yeah.
If I'll put a little mustard on it, but if I'm at a barbecue and that's what's there, I have done it. And it's
sure.
pretty good. It's good. It's great. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
so guilty as charged.
No
with the
mustard, just ketchup here.
Just ketchup.
I like some ketchup and mustard on it, or relish. I like some relish.
Yeah.
hmm
Oh, it's so good. Now I need a hot dog and pizza and Chicago pizza. Now I need to just do that.
That's what the food for thought segment just makes you real
Yes.
hungry. It's 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 rough.
My partner has learned the hard way. I have the palate of a child. Like
That's
chicken tendies
Mm.
and like plain cheeseburgers with a little ketchup and pickle, and that's it.
oh
Cool.
man.
A lot of
I'm
people are that way, though. A lot of people are that way.
I am like that person to where like if I go I like burgers, right? I like burgers is probably one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
The more shit on that burger though, the more sloppy, wet burger that's gonna be. Oh, baby. That's the one I'm gonna get.
Yes. Oh, it's just the best when you take the bite and it just is, whether it's the pickle juices or the tomato
Yeah.
juices just coming. Oh,
hmm
yeah.
That's
Just
I
ketchup and pickles over here.
But pickles are amazing. I love
Yes.
pickles. I'm like the pickle queen. I love, oh, just pickles all day.
I like a good pickle as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a podcast about mental health and music, but on the topic of mental health, what is like your go-to comfort snack after having just a long, mentally exhausting day?
Oh man. So usually two things. And I love my fiance for that because whenever he knows if I'm going through it or stressful, I will get it. But it's either French fries
Mm.
or cookies. I'm a big sweets person when I'm feeling that way. Like specifically like chocolate chip. That is like my go-to. Let me sit down, have, you know, I have coffee sometimes and I'll have it with it. But just even just sitting on the couch and eating like a warm chocolate chip cookie in that moment, hands down, my favorite go-to. But then French fries is like, I've got to have French fries too. So those two, not the healthiest, but they're the most comfortingest. Like, all right, I'm good. I feel a little better now.
Well, that's why they're called comfort foods. You know,
Yep.
they're not called make you feel skinnier
No,
foods.
no. But there's always that one person too. It's funny if ever sometimes you'll post like, oh, you're having this, and just in the culture today of like health, sometimes people will be like, oh, but that's unhealthy. Ah, okay, that's comfort. Like you just said, it's comfort. It's good. It's delicious, and it's taking me out of that bad mental space to just have a chocolate chip cookie, or maybe
And you
two,
can't
three.
and you can't always like even I was like in this like huge like mode of I was bodybuilding and stuff before COVID and all that sort of stuff. And every kind of like exercise like person out there, they'll tell you you can't just eat healthy.
No.
You can't you'll drive yourself nuts or you'll
Mm-hmm.
get off your diet, you'll get off your routine. You have to allow yourself your treats, your desires. Otherwise, like it like exercising and that sort of stuff can be super fun if you like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you are tormenting yourself from not allowing yourself food that you like to eat and you're sad because eating sucks, like then working out's not going to be as fun. It's going to because it's a whole part of the process, so you have to let yourself eat French fries and cookies and
Oh.
whatever you like. And if that's all you like to eat, that's fucking fine too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying this for all those like health nuts out there. You can't just eat
No.
like nothing. You can't not allow yourself your comfort food and things like that. That's how you make it not work. Now, speaking of that, I chose to eat healthy last night at 1:30 in the morning. I just had a mini sandwich. Just a mini sandwich. And by mini sandwich, I mean I had a cupcake. I took the bottom off it, put it on top, and a little mini cupcake sandwich. And that just one. So it was
There we go.
healthier option.
You
Yeah.
know, you bringing up like health nuts, bodybuilders makes me think. Have you guys ever seen what The Rock's like cheat day meal is?
Oh,
Dude, it was
yeah.
when I was bodybuilding, Gibby, I fashioned my everything around The Rock.
So you went 150 days, no cheat day, then had 12 pancakes, 4 pizzas, a shitload of brownies.
Nope. Nope. But he also he did that just for one thing, but that's not even what he does either. He is a very big advocate of like working out, and then every like 2 weeks or something he would give himself a cheat day and he would eat what he wanted.
Yeah, because I think if I remember him saying he does like 20,000 calories.
Yeah. He's an insane amount of food.
Yeah.
Oh.
But also, if you remember looking at that pizza, the thing that I think is super funny is that his pizza that he prefers is like extra dough. It's like double dough, not like the shit on top. He wants more just the dough.
Whoa.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you see? It's
I
like double
gotta
the
go
dough.
back and look. I've seen his like when he shows it. I was like, oh my God. Like the
Yeah.
pancakes for sure, the ones that stick out, but it's
Yeah.
just it's like
12 pancakes,
What?
4 double dough pizzas,
Yeah.
and 21 brownies.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't even think I could get through the
Yeah.
pancakes.
no.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, when you like just going back to it, like I said, when you're bodybuilding though and shit like The Rock, basically you're eating all day long too though. In order to get your like protein goals, you have to eat every like 2 hours. And like small meals every 2 hours to hit your goals, or even bigger meals for someone like The Rock and stuff. So like when you look at like his cheat meals and stuff, yeah, he can probably eat like that shit, because I remember me, like it took me a fucking lot of food to get full because I was always eating. It's wild. It's a wild life.
Oh, yeah.
I miss eating that much. I do it now and now look like this.
Hey, you know what? You're probably happier though now, like maybe I don't want to speak for you, but because
I don't know.
no.
It was pretty fun. I like
Yeah.
I like exercising. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, last question for food for thought segment. If stereotherapy, okay, think of your collective as a whole. If stereotherapy was a potato, what kind of potato would you be?
Oh. You know what? I'm going to say stereotherapy would be a baked potato because you can add so many cool toppings to it. And I feel like that fits our podcast because we're not just, yes, we're music and mental health, but there's a lot more to it. And I feel like that's more of like a baked potato. You can just keep adding to it. And it's not just, all right, we're a baked potato. We can add different things to it and make it something different. I would say, yeah, baked potato.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. Good old hearty baked potato, loaded baked
Yes.
potato.
I'd say loaded baked potato. Yes.
Loaded
Yeah.
baked potato.
That's what we are.
I love it. Awesome. And with that, that's the end of our food for thought segment. Now it's time for a rapid fire question segment.
Friendships will be tested. Rapid fire questions.
It's going to speak from the heart. You're going to shoot from the hip. Whatever is the first thing that comes to your mind, you just go with it.
All right.
All right. Monster Energy or Rockstar?
Monster Energy.
All right. Pop punk or emo?
Oh, pop punk.
Taylor Swift or John Mayer?
Oh. Because yeah, I have some thoughts on John Mayer, but he's a wonderful, incredible musician.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go Taylor Swift.
All right, all right. Now we kind of talked a little bit about these earlier, but skinny jeans or baggy pants?
Oh, skinny jeans, team skinny jeans. I'm not letting them go.
Okay. Disney Plus or Netflix?
Oh, Disney Plus.
We also kind of discussed this a little bit, but stuffed crust or deep dish pizza?
You know what? I'm going to say it. Deep dish, just Chicago, whatever. Deep dish.
All right. Vans or Chuck Taylors?
Oh, Vans.
Okay. This is the last one. The All-American Rejects or The Offspring?
Ooh, All American Rejects.
Nice. I was
Yeah.
trying to think of one of the songs really quickly and start singing it. Um, but all I could think of was like the just like none of the words or anything. So
Yeah.
didn't work. That failed. Thank you. But speaking of singing, I was telling this to Gibby earlier. I was thinking about this. Um, every time I think of your podcast name, Stereotherapy,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
it makes me think of um Newfound Glory. Now,
Ooh.
which is really funny because um it's not the right words, but for some reason I kept started singing it one day and I just never stopped. Um so it's like the stereotherapy replacing that with radio surgery. It's like there
Yes.
need stereotherapy.
I love that. And I never would pick up on that, but the minute you said Newfound Glory, it's like, oh, radio surgery. Like
Hmm.
I know where they're going with that for sure.
I need stereotherapy. So
That's it.
you
Come
could
on.
make your own jingle
I know.
with that.
Yes, I need to. And then maybe I'll be like, Newfound Glory, would you like to,
Just do a quick little
do a quick
rendish.
something next
Just a
time?
little
Like,
rendish.
and sadly, I just saw them. If like, I could see them just in the phone. Just do it for me a little bit,
Hey, just shoot them up. Just, Jordan, hey,
Yes.
buddy, come on,
Oh,
hook hook me up.
yes, let's do this. And it's oddly enough, they're a band too I love so much, but I know I've said before, but they shared our podcast because I
Wow.
had like a little reel of just, and I was really nervous about what was shared because it was me saying how for me in my era, it was Newfound Glory that was like my pop punk. Everyone wants to
Hmm.
say Blink, and I love Blink. They're so great. But what made me fall in love with pop punk was Newfound Glory. Like
I
that
love
was for
that.
me and my age. That was me. And I was really nervous because that was the clip I had. And then I saw Jordan had shared it because I was getting some couple follows and that episode shot up. And then I saw in his story, I'm like, oh my gosh, Jordan from Newfound Glory shared it.
That's
But then I'm
wild.
like, am I going to get backlash for that though? Because the Blink fans, me saying this. But a
No,
lot of a lot of people actually agreed with it and were like, yeah, that's me too. I grew up for me, it's Newfound Glory too. Like
That's
that's what
me.
got me into pop punk. It wasn't Blink. And I love Blink, but it just what made me fall in love with it. It was that band and like seeing them recently, they've still got it, Newfound
oh yeah.
Glory. After all these years, one of the best shows, celebrating Catalyst and Sincere Engineer. Just, oh,
Hmm.
such a great show.
I do like I've seen Newfound Glory probably more than I've seen anybody else. Like
Hmm.
and every time they come to Minnesota, I do everything in my power to get out to the show. I've seen at least their last like 4 or 5 times they came through. I don't go honestly, I don't go to a ton of shows. I don't, but I will go to Newfound Glory
Hmm.
every time I can.
Yeah.
And but my path to pop punk was not even interesting. So it was like Green Day was the very first one, but Lisa, I'm a little older. Not much. I'm a little older, but I had Green Day and then Green Day led me to Blink 182, but damn it. Not damn
Hmm.
it, but Dude Ranch. Dude
Yeah.
Ranch Blink 182. That's my Blink 182. That's my favorite, and it always will be. Um but I wouldn't have made it to Newfound Glory if it wasn't for Green Day, Blink 182. And Newfound Glory is my favorite. I
Mhm.
like they're my favorite band. So if it wasn't for Green Day, Blink-182, I wouldn't have got to Newfound Glory. It's
Mhm.
at least it is very probable that I may not have.
Yeah. No, that's kind of like, I guess, me too, like being in middle school and hearing Enema of the State. And then had I not heard that, and even Green Day and Dookie, knowing what that is, I probably wouldn't, like hearing Hit or Miss from Newfound Glory, not being into that because of Blink. So, thank you, Blink. Because, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
then again,
remember
yeah. Ugh.
I remember hearing Damn It on the radio, which was huge. And then do either of you remember this? Me and one of my other best friends, Mike, we would sit with our boom boxes and we would listen to the radio trying to catch this ad. MXPX did an ad for Mountain Dew. They had a song. It's like, where do you wanna go? What do you wanna do? What do you wanna drink? Mountain Dew, yeah. Dude, it's the best. You look it up.
Oh, I have to,
It's
I probably have seen it, but
I
now I
I'm
need to look this up.
I'm pretty sure I still have my recorded cassette from the radio with the Mountain Dew song on it because I'm a hoarder. I keep so many ridiculous things. But I loved like pop punk and all that sort of stuff from back then. There was so much fun shit that was going on, that was happening, and it's one of my favorite memories, honestly. I love that.
Yeah. And there was just so much going on back then in that era of pop punk. I mean, there's a lot going on now, I know, but I don't know. There was just something, especially the Warp Tour era of the
Yeah.
pop punk and that time. It was just, oh, yeah, so special. Like I'm so thankful to have lived through that. And
Hmm.
then now, and especially like with shows being expensive as they are, like
Yeah.
it's tough for people, I think, to experience what we maybe have going to shows, because I'll tell people, oh, I've seen Newfound Glory is like one of my top. I must have. I'm probably up there in like the 80s of seeing Newfound Glory, like of the amount of
Wow.
times I've seen them every
Jeez.
time. And I would travel like to Detroit, I would travel to Wisconsin, anywhere in Illinois, and all the Warp Tours, follow them around and this and that and be that kid. And I
Hmm.
just think about like how fun that was and how nowadays it's like, well, if you want to go see some of these bands, you're paying 60 plus, or if you want to be in the pit for like Blink, you're,
Hmm.
gosh, I don't even know, 800s, I don't even
Yeah.
know, like, especially in New York. And
Hmm.
it's, I feel bad because how great back then was in the pop
Yeah.
punk emo era for all of us to experience all that cool stuff.
Yeah, and like it sucks because first off, they'll never know what this was like because due to inflation and how everything
Mhm.
is more expensive than fucking ever. But
Yeah.
like I remember going to Video Vision, buying a ticket for Warp Tour for $25.
Hmm.
You know? Like
Yeah.
and seeing Newfound Glory, seeing Blink 182, you know, it sucks. Like and that for a all day festival for $25.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh,
even you can hardly go to like some local shows for $25 now.
no. Oh, when I tell people
You
like
can
how
obviously, but
whoever it was, I don't know, maybe it was Newfound Glory, but it was someone I was talking to about a show, was like, yeah, I used to think, I think it was Coheed back in the day, and it was like 40 something bucks. And I was like, that's so expensive. That's the most
hmm,
expensive ticket I've seen so far. Nowadays, oh my gosh, you're like waiting for a $40 ticket as opposed to like that back then. Like, I'm like,
right.
I can't believe I used to think that was expensive. Or seeing Blink in the Pit back then when like 2009 and came around. And I think my pit ticket was like $100,
Mm,
120 with tax. And I'm like, wow, like how lucky. Like I'll never be in the pit again for Blink. Like not with these
right.
prices. There's no way I can.
Not with these feet.
No. Oh,
That's just
yeah.
that's more me now. I was like,
Oh,
I need a couple different sit breaks.
it, even that. So I recently, this year, I saw, I think it was Thursday, they were playing a really small venue here in Jersey. It was like a 250 cap room. But before they went on, I went in the back and I found like this chair. And I was like, well, I'm sitting in this because I'm not going to make it 3-4 hours standing here waiting for them. And I think it was like Keith Buckley of Every Time I Die, like, well, X Every Time I Die, and his new band Many Eyes was opening. And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I have no shame that I'm sitting in this chair in the back of this venue watching Keith Buckley, and then getting up and then going back to that chair before Thursday came on. I'm like, I needed this chair and I found this chair and I will take it every time.
Yeah. Man, that'd be sick to see Many Eyes. That's cool.
Oh, they were so good. And I felt like maybe some people weren't sure of who they were.
Sure.
But they were so good. It was so good just to see Keith Buckley up there happy and playing his music. And that to me was like worth it. I love Thursday, but it was like so cool to see Keith Buckley up there again. And just, he looked so happy. And for me, and like even talking mental health, he's a big advocate talking about mental health. And yeah, that stole the show for me for sure.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, you did it. You finished the podcast. Now's your chance. Let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you, and what's next.
Ooh, so we've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got a lot of cool guests coming on, a lot of people I'm really excited about. We have new episodes every Tuesday, but now we've been doing episodes every Tuesday and Friday because we've just had so many guests, which I'm so excited about. And so that may change, but every Tuesday for sure. And it's just, we have also episodes coming up because something we do is we have guests talk about music and mental health, but we also highlight albums that we love. So we have a lot more episodes coming about some records we love. We got Fall Out Boy from Under the Cork Tree coming up. We've got an Academy Is record. So I'm really excited to get back into that and the importance of that as well. And yeah, you bear in all the main platforms. Right now we are audio only. I'm trying to get the confidence to do video. Maybe doing this will help me out. We are on YouTube, but it's audio only, but so Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. Even our website too, stereotherapypod.com. You can listen there if you're not a streamer or you don't like those services. But our Instagram is stereo.therapy, stereo.therapy, whatever you want to say. And yeah, we'd love to see anyone check us out if you're into music and mental health and ending the stigma of mental health, and also just talking to really cool bands that we find too. So yeah, would love it.
Hell yeah. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. You know, if you're needed for some back-to-back episodes on Mondays, you can check out Where Did All My Friends Go. Tuesdays, check out Stereotherapy. You get your week starting off right.
Yes. 100%. That's how I started my day today. I started your episode today, so I've got to finish it. So there we go, back to back.
Heck yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much again, Lisa, for hanging out with us today. Everybody, thanks for listening and hanging out with us, and we'll see you all next Monday.
Thank you so much for checking out the show. Please hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you never miss an episode. And thank you to those who already are. Please rate and review the show to help the show be found by new people. And if you're in the position to help us grow, head on over to our website where you can find merch, our Patreon, and other ways that you can help at www.unsignedpoppunk.com. Let us know in the comments who else you'd like to see on the show and what other content you would like to see. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.